Yo, what's going on guys? Cygnus here, and today marks the beginning of a new series on the channel, the Faction Ironman. Now I know there's some others out there doing these Ironman modes, but I don't think anybody's incorporated the faction system into it. I kinda just thought, what fun is an open world full loot game if the fear of losing everything isn't there as much as it possibly can be? Not that we necessarily need SPI to make us a game mode, because this is a sandbox and we can kind of play it however we want. I'll go over the rules of Faction Ironman real quick and link them in the description below in case you guys want to also partake in this. Rule number 1. Finish the tutorial or skip it and proceed to the nearest main city. You must faction flag for the city you choose at all times. Rule number 2. You must remain faction flagged at all times unless you enter the Black Zone or Carleon. If you want to enter Carleon, you must deflag from your faction in a zone directly outside the city. You must flag as red before leaving Carleon, and you must head directly back to your main city in order to faction flag. Rule number 3. You may use crafting stations in the main cities because you cannot enter the crosses when you're faction flagged. I thought about limiting the crafting stations to only self-made and public crafting stations, but it just seemed like it would be a long, drawn-out thing in order to, be able to buy your own premium, to buy your own island, to then make crafting stations just in order to get to, tier 4 gear and weapons. Rule number 4. You can use your 3-day premium that you get from the tutorial whenever you wish. Rule number 5. You may also purchase premium or an island with in-game earned silver only. Rule number 6. Market rules. 6.1. You may purchase island-specific ingredients from the market, but you must craft all food. 6.2. You may purchase mounts from the market. 6.3. You may not purchase armor or weapons from the market. 6.4. You may not sell anything but faction point gathered items on the market, crests and hearts only. Rule number 7. You may not trade with other players. Rule number 8. You may not convert gold to silver. Rule number 9. Instanced content. 9.1. You can do solo dungeons. 9.2. You may do stalker level and above corrupted dungeons. 9.3. You may do group dungeons if everyone in your party is also faction flagged. 9.4. You may not do hardcore or normal expeditions. 9.5. You may not do arenas. 9.6. You may not participate in level 1 crystal GVGs. The rest of them are fine. Number 10. The hardcore optional rules. 10.1. If you are killed by another player, delete your character. 10.2. You must craft everything that you wear. 10.3. You may not purchase anything from the market, including mounts or food ingredients like I stated earlier. And before we go on, I'll let you guys know, this episode is going to be a little bit wonky because I initially intended for this character to be a hardcore Ironman player, which I still technically am inside those bounds, but I completely forgot about loot drops and stuff from dungeons, so I kind of don't want to leave that out on the possibilities of also getting gear from them. But I haven't progressed this character since the end of this video, so I'll let you guys decide on whether I continue a normal Ironman or as a hardcore Ironman. I'll pin a straw poll down in the comments. And back to the video. So I finished the tutorial and headed up to Fort Sterling to faction flag, and I decided I was going to go a one-hand spear build. I've never played spear before, but I've heard good things about it. And you're probably thinking, well, isn't Iron Man and a self-sufficient character going to be hard enough? And yeah, sure it is, but what's the fun of playing single player and progressing if you can't use your progression or anything to PK? So my first logical goal was to be able to use T3 weapons and armor, but I also had to spec everything up to gather and craft, as well as make the tools to gather it all. You can see where this is going to become a huge time sink if I can continue on as a hardcore character. So I wasn't sure or not whether solo dungeons spawned in T3 zones, so I just headed to the nearest mob camp and continued to farm until I hit the tier 3 milestone. So since I'm able to wear T3, I need to also be able to gather and craft it, right? So I head out and gather a shitload of fiber. Figuring I grabbed enough fiber, I go to level up my lumberjack and run into a flag, Limhurst. This is the first enemy faction flag that I've seen so far, and I nearly shit myself. Luckily he was on a mission, so he didn't stop for me. After all the gathering I did, I still wasn't able to craft my T3 armor or weapons like I wanted. Time for more gathering. Nope, he's on a mission too. Well, I hit a learning point from my journeyman fiber harvester. Might as well use my limited learning points on gathering and crafting, right? Next up, journeyman mining. So I'm out here minding my own business, watching the destiny board like drying paint, and I hear it. So for some reason he didn't actually attack me and I was able to mount up and run away, but I think since he was escorting, he didn't want to get distracted by little old T2 wearing me. Anyways, I've got a full inventory, so I guess I'll head back to town. maybe I'll do a solo first. It was the first one I've seen, plus I needed a little extra cash, so I hop in. I ended up getting no drops from it, no rooms, nothing but a silver bag at the end, which is okay because I almost doubled my wealth with a single solo. Back to Sterling, and I'm crafting away. I hit T3 Mage Armor, which is a pretty awesome milestone, and then I head over to the Toolmaker because I would probably need new tools for T3. And that's when I realized I've been using T1 tools this entire time. It's fine, everything's fine. So I go out and gather with my T tools this time and come back with a full bag and a decent haul. I hit Journeyman Toolmaking and end up studying some of the tools just to hit it. I really need to watch the amount of silver this stuff costs. Off to the Hunter's Lodge to hit T3 for my Hunter armor and weapons. And I can finally craft the spear I've been wanting to make this entire time. And look at that, it's outstanding. I somehow lost the footage of crafting my T3 Scholar Cowl and robe, but looks like I crafted all of those as well as my T3 torch. So I was able to hit full T3 with only 80 silver to spare. And with that, about 4 hours shoved into about 6 minutes worth of footage, with an average IP of almost 500. I blame the capes. Might as well use my first fame book from the daily goals to boost me a little bit. And I figured I'd end there. It's been a long 4 hours, but I think I made some pretty decent progress for being self-sufficient. So let me know what you guys think about this series down in the description, and let me know if you want me to continue as a hardcore Iron Man or change it to normal. I'll link the Strawpoll down in the description, and we'll take a look at the results and continue in the next video. Don't forget to check out the public Discord to hang out with me and plenty of others, and don't forget to subscribe for future episodes of this series. And thanks again for watching. Peace!